Board of directors. So they have a board of directors, but they're acting in the same capacity. So
If
they have.
they have to have it. Well, I guess it's something to kind of look into. I just like the thought came to me with this discussion, and I was like, how does this apply to kind of every sector?
I'm going where you're going, actually. I'm going where you're going. And if the board of directors are the ones that are putting forward the policies, no, it's not. Well, actually, it would be now. Before, it was directive number 6 that was putting forward the policies, but now without directive number 6.
Even directive number 6, it never said institute a mandate to like force vaccinate people.
Well, none of it did. None of it. None of the law. It wasn't a law. It was a mandate, but the mandates all said the same thing. And while we're on this topic, and then I do see the 3 hands up. We'll get to you just quickly. But I can
explain the difference.
Okay, go ahead.
They were recommending a mandate. They were asking them to provide a service, and once they do it, then it's a contract between the government and the board or whoever was doing it. They didn't have to do it. But if they did do it, then there was conditions about how they wanted it done. And now that's been removed. So it's strictly a policy. So I don't even know why they've done that, because the way they did it before, if the school board or whoever decided to take them up on this offer or this suggestion of a mandate, they would assume liability. So now they've withdrawn that. So the liability is going to be still there 100% with whoever school board or whoever does their mandate, or not their mandate, does their policy, like vaccine policy or mask policy or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Yeah. And I wanted to touch on the policy that they do have in place regarding vaccines and masking. So just so that everybody is aware. Fran, we're not promoting Action for Canada in this group. So I'm going to ask that you not do that again, please. Thank you very much. Action for Canada uses the charter. We are not a charter group. I would please ask that you refrain from posting Action for Canada in Stand4Thee's Zooms. It completely undermines the work that we do. And we've made it very publicly known that we do not work with groups who use the charter for obvious reasons. And if you're not very clear, then please go and read the content on stand4thee.ca to get familiar. So if you can please refrain from doing so, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Fran. Going back to healthcare, the vaccine mandate. So right now, I believe most hospitals have a policy where they want you to show your identification as well as a proof of vaccination. So Nadia, the lawyer, you guys may remember Nadia. She had provided some really good information about how to deal with the hospitals. And the one really key piece of information is the Healthcare Consent Act, Section 11. Section 11 is regarding informed consent. And I'll share the information, but really all you need to say, Healthcare Consent Act, Section 11, that would be sufficient. But what you do is, if you're trying to go into the hospital for any reason, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, ask for the patient advocate. Okay, so do not pass go. Ask for the patient advocate. I'm putting this in the chat. And once you do this, it kind of changes everyone's tune. And then if you need to, reference Section 11 of the Healthcare Consent Act. Of course, the Bill of Rights applies here too, but you're going to get granular with this. And I didn't even have to do this. I was quite irritated, so I was kind of mouthing off to the people in the foyer, like, this is a violation of my rights. And then the patient advocate showed up, didn't even ask me a question, and off I went. So I did show my mask exemption. I did it for Jane, guys. I took one for the team because I just wanted to get in to see Jane. So that was the only thing that they gave me grief for. And I was helping a woman just yesterday, Monica from Taco El Asador. I don't know if you guys remember her. Anyway, her husband hurt himself and some nonsense happened. Some malpractice has gone on, and they wouldn't allow her into the hospital. So she did what I suggested. She contacted the patient advocate. She mentioned Section 11, and boom, there she was. So, all right, PK, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, great.
It does. I have a second. It's unrelated to like the topic. It's about the border. But I can wait till other people get their questions if you don't. Like,
just go ahead and ask.
So I was going to cross the border like tomorrow.
Okay.
Possibly next day. And apparently, I was just looking at their site, and apparently they brought in like new rules as of like end of March. And I was just wondering if you had any sort of experience.
Who's they?
Like the travel.gov, like the US, the border people.
On the US side.
Yeah, like apparently they instituted a new order from the White House or from the CDC or something, and they basically updated their things saying that unless you're a citizen or a visa holder or whatever, like if you're going into the US for travel, you need to be like double dosed or whatever.
Well, I went in on March 18th. So
on March 18th, also right around that time.
Yeah, I went in on March 18th, and I didn't have any issues. So
Okay.
it is a roll of the dice. I had a lady today who was denied entrance. So it really does.
Okay.
It really does. It's a roll of the dice. So
Well,
I mean,
I'll let you guys know how it turns out. I have a backup. Like I have a medical appointment, so
okay.
I have that as a backup. I'm gonna go try and just enter without saying that. I'm just gonna say I'm coming to visit a friend and I have an appointment, and then if they press me on it, then I'll be like, well, it's a medical appointment, blah blah blah. But I'll let you know how it turns out. Okay. I just wanted to see, because that seems to be an evolving, dynamic, flowing situation, like all these mandates, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So good luck, PK.
Thanks.
All right. Concerned Canadian, how are you?
Good. How are you? Good to see you.
Yes, you too.
I'm actually glad you called on me right after him, because I was just actually looking at all the travel stuff today, and it's very convoluted as far as what's on the Canadian side now too, as well. Because it's almost saying, from what I'm reading and how I'm looking at it, it's basically saying that you just have to have a test come back in, which I disagree with anyways. But it's also wanting you to give them like a quarantine plan, I guess, if you come back positive. So I was wondering if anybody has any information or knows more about that than
coming back in.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. I'm an expert. Let me tell you. So I've come in twice through air, twice through land. I've got a collection of toilet paper at home in the sum of $26,000, and I also have a summons that I attended yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, Wednesday. So yes, Robert, we go until we're done, my friend. Yeah, we're a dedicated bunch. So when you came, so it depends what time you come in. If you're coming in after 6 o'clock, I believe there's no public health officer there. And I just had somebody, she was denied entrance to the border today, unfortunately. But when she came back in, she didn't get a ticket. And I'm not sure, let me just see what time she said. Because they held her back, and then they told her, where is she? What time is this at?
Yeah, because like when you look at the website now, it seems like, because someone had told me that they knew someone that was at the customs, and something was changing as of like this week, but so of course
no, I don't think for Canada it's been the same since November 30th, I believe. So
yeah.
When you're coming back into Canada, they can't stop you from coming into the country. For me, I tell them straight out, I'm not answering any of your questions. I'm not doing a ArriveCan. I'm not answering your questions. I'm not doing anything that you're asking me. You're violating my rights. You're breaking the law. Thank you very much. And so they've I'm not sure where she entered. So, guys, I went through Buffalo and I went through Detroit. Both times they just asked basic questions, and like they didn't even ask that like a lot of questions that you get normally. And so, but coming back into Canada, they can't stop you from coming into the country. You live here, and actually, if you go to the government website, and there's like you can put in, "Am I eligible to enter into Canada?" And you put in that you're a Canadian, vaxxed or not vaxxed, you can come in. But then you have to
Yeah,
deal with
that
yeah,
was what was confusing me when I got in looking at looking at it. Yeah.
yeah, because they can't deny you returning into the country. So the issue is that you can either comply or not, and I choose not to comply with anything, which is why I take the ticket, and I don't even get mad. I'm like, just write the ticket. I'm cool. And the last time I was coming in through the late at night, I was coming in through whatever it's this Prescott. That's not the name of the crossing, but literally the guy was like, "We get two people through here the whole night." And they called the police on me. And I actually was going to call the police to be like, "Are you coming? Because like I'd like to go home." And the police officer came. She gave me a summons. But you know what she selected? She chose Section 15 bracket 3 of the Quarantine Act. 15 bracket 3 of the Quarantine Act is screening off is defining an order of a screening officer or a quarantine officer. Well, I didn't talk to a screening officer and I didn't talk to a quarantine officer. And so that officer, peace officer, didn't have the authority to write that ticket. She has no authority under 15 bracket 3. And if you read through the act, it very clearly states who a quarantine officer is and a screening officer, and it's not a peace officer. So you have to take it, take the ticket or take the summons, and then you got to read through it and see what they're trying to charge you with, and then you're going to fight it with the Bill of Rights anyway. But I like to get them on technicalities, so I'm going to get them on the technicality, and I'm going to get them on the Bill of Rights. So number one, you wrote the ticket incorrectly. You didn't have the authority to write this ticket. And number two, you didn't have the authority to write the ticket because you're violating my Bill of Rights. And so that's the defense. We actually on Monday, guys, on Monday, May 9th, May 9th is going to be a busy night. We are actually hosting a self-representation Zoom. So anyone who is interested in doing self-representation, and Kimberly can tell you, do self-representation because Kimberly is reading her disclosure. She's putting her case together, and Kimberly is realizing that she's going to kick their asses in the court. Look at her, how excited she is. And this is the thing, guys. When you are charged with a you get a ticket or whatever it is, first thing you do, get disclosure. Don't get a lawyer first. Get the disclosure first. Then you can decide what you want to do. Like, whoa, this is way over my head. I need to get support. Or, Gail, my patients are really thin on being unmuted. I think that may have been an accident, so I'll give you one more chance, but I got my finger is on the remove button as we speak. So first thing, get your disclosure, you read that, and then you determine, can I self-represent alone or do I need to get legal counsel? Consultation, sorry, it's different. Legal consultation helps you in the background, but doesn't represent you in the court. When you walk in the courtroom, it messes up everything. And this is my analogy, guys. If anybody here plays